Good evening, and welcome to another episode of Fat Guy with a Ponytail. I think this is episode 10. And we're going to talk maybe a little bit about the holidays and relationships with food and past experiences. It's been a while. So, probably not that long, maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Anyhow, I was harassed. So here is another entry in the journey of post bariatric surgery and weight loss and the like. So we'll status check first. We're at 262 pounds, which is kind of cool. That milestone, it's like 3 pounds under the milestone of 265, and I picked that particular weight because that was the weight that I was when I arrived in Tampa in January of the year 2000. And during that time, I lost, as I went on Atkins, because that was the thing back then, but went down to 235. So we're trying to shoot for that goal, but I think the initial goal that follows our 265 that we broke is 250, which will mark 100 pounds total loss. So we're currently 84 days post-op. Total loss since January is 89 pounds. Pre-op 31, post-op 58. So not bad. I guess I'll take a minute to talk about the regular clothes too, because there have been some changes with respect to that. I know at some point we talked about the 52 pants or the 50 pants that I was wearing, and getting down to, well, maybe we didn't talk about it, but anecdotal story from, I want to say 6-7 years ago. There was a gal I was living with, and one of those things that we resign ourselves to when we don't fit into clothes is sometimes we put them in the closet and we say, oh, well, I'll get back down to that weight that I wanted to be at, and I'll wear them again. This gal was more of a realist, and I think as I did that and put it in there, and she says, yeah, those will stay there forever. Well, we're not together anymore, but it had nothing to do with that incident. But it was true. That is the kind of thing that happens, and eventually you resign yourself to going through the closet, and you dig through the things that you accept that you're never going to fit back into again, and off they go to Goodwill or what have you, and you accept your new size reluctantly, or happily. Maybe if you don't have body image issues, or you're happy with yourself, and that's great if that's the situation you're in. I have struggled with that quite a bit. At any rate, I did hold on to 2, maybe 3 pairs of those pants, one of which was brand new, and it was a 46-inch waist, and I stuffed them in the closet. And when I went to interview for the new job that I did land, I was in a pinch, and I had to wear the 46 pants, and I was a little surprised that I could do it without too much, as they say, muffin topping. It was uncomfortable, but it wasn't like I was going to bust a button. It was just a little early. These days, the 46 is fine, and I think I bought some jeans because I was like, okay, well, I guess I'm a 46 now. Cool. To my surprise, the jeans fit a little looser in like 2 weeks than I thought. So I said, well, okay, I guess I'll order a 44 and see how those goes. And, these are the 44s that I'm wearing, and, they're not loose, but, they're comfortable. So, I guess I'm a 44 now, and we'll hopefully be on the way to 42 and below. But 44 was significant, I think, because I wasn't in the big and tall. I was at the top end of regular clothes, and I think not every store would carry a 44, but it's on our way down to what was normal, and that was a big deal for me to be able to put on these button fly jeans that I thought I would never get to wear again. So that was cool. In that same line, I think I might have alluded to during our last conversation that there was a gig coming up, a late in the pirate season gig. Usually we finish it off in September or October at the latest, so a November gig is unheard of. And one in Camden, New Jersey was not done, but there it was. And so I dug out my pirate garb, and I prepped the day before, and to my surprise, I had a very serious belt problem. I'll try to, fly in some video or something, or a still image, or what have you. But the bottom line is that I needed to create 2 new holes in my belt just to be able to not have my pants falling down. And fortunately, I had suspenders, um, but it was a striking difference putting on the garb. My waistcoat um, was buttoned up and cinched, and I had all kinds of room in my pants that I didn't know what to do with. It's I've got a crisis essentially for next year, which is I guess a good problem to have. But I'll be honest, this shit's expensive. So I knew I needed new shoes. Now I need new trousers and a waistcoat. My shirts maybe, I don't know. Um, Most of the shirts are typically one size fits all. You toss them over your head and you belt up. So I'll probably be okay in that respect. But things are that was a shock. And when I showed up at the gig, prepped, there was a lot of surprise from folks who hadn't seen me in a while, because it was, I think, the last gig they saw me play at was in September, so it was 2 months later, and it was only 2 weeks after the operation. So not a lot had happened. I think there was some, but it was significant, and they were shocked and asked questions, and again, wasn't ready to share. I deflected, um, but all seemed pretty pleased, and more importantly, I think at the end of the gig, we did three sets, full action-packed sets, lots of jumping, lots of running around, lots of doing stuff, and I still had my fuel in the tank. I probably could have pulled another set. Was early, but it was late. It's like a Wednesday. Who wants to play a gig on a Wednesday in Camden and have to go back home and work the next day? So it was unrealistic to play another set or an encore. I think we did like actually one encore. Nonetheless, it was I guess I'm healthier, and I continue to run, um, and do. I've added weight training to the regime, although it's been entertaining. They had me doing some very different exercises leg wise than I'm used to, which literally worked my butt off. It hurt. Sitting down, even to use the restroom, was I was a guy in need of a handle. So it was painful, but I guess maybe rewarding. I don't know. Um, and I guess what else can I tell you? Oh yes, and the Turkey Trot is 2 days away. Well, one day away because it's midnight and here I am talking. So yeah, Thanksgiving morning, I've got my race packet, got my bib. I don't even know what to do with that, quite honestly. I guess I'll watch everybody else and figure that out, or maybe there's instructions in the envelope. But I got my running shirt, um, got all kinds of garb for doing the turkey trot since it's supposed to be fun. So I got my turkey hat, my turkey legs, and my turkey gloves. Um, and folks from the new job, I think I told you the story, and I probably told you the story already. The Sober Joe and Drunk Joe. There's also Motivated Joe and Procrastinator Joe, and Motivated Joe made sure he told these new folks at the new job. So they're apparently going to show up at the Turkey Trot, and I guess they'll be looking for me so that they can run. I already told them that running is going to be. I didn't have enough time to train for this, and that's okay, because it was. I picked this one as a low barrier to entry and a low pressure situation. So, and that's basically what it is. There's going to be a lot of young kids, dogs, older people walking, just kind of getting out and catching some air in the beginning of the morning before all the turkey madness starts, and we all start cooking like crazy and doing what we got to do to make it through Thanksgiving. So I'm averaging, when I'm running, I can do about 2 miles in a little over 30, like 31, 32 minutes. So I'm hoping, I think I stand a decent chance of finishing in under an hour, but not probably by much under an hour. I suspect it's gonna be tough, and I'm definitely not gonna run the whole thing. I wish that I could say that I was and that I'm in great shape. It's like, no. I'll probably be lucky if I run overall a mile plus. But um, the important thing for me, I'm focusing on is finishing. And the important job here that motivated Joe did was put a line in the sand that uh, non-exercise procrastinator Joe was going to have to show up for, which so far seems to be going according to plan. Um, so, yeah, I guess that's something. And um, what else can I talk about? Oh yeah, one last thing, because it is the holidays and it is the Turkey Trot, and this is the season of food. I mean, you could argue there's a lot of seasons of food. Chocolate seems to be an ongoing sort of we've got, in America at least, every season a reason for chocolate. Um, and that is my undoing. I'm not big on candy or gum and things like that, but chocolate is, I miss chocolate. Um, but Thanksgiving isn't about chocolate. Thanksgiving is about turkey. But it's in my universe. It's also about mom showing up with lasagna. Um, a lot of things. So it is a tough time of year, and I think a lot of the folks are feeling it. There's a lot of buzz on the comp board, and folks talking about how do we get through this, and there's extra support group sessions, which I'm not a support group person, but I totally get it. If I was, I'd be looking for it. Um, but there was one post today that really resonated for me. It definitely got me straight in the feels, as the kids say. And it was it was a gal who posted and talked about how, she's early in the post-op period of things, in 2 days, 3 days maybe on liquids. Um, but it hit her that her she's basically broken up with food, and that is sort of the situation, even if temporarily. And there was a lot of feelings that she had about that. That was about, I felt like I was doing something wrong, that I had betrayed, that a friend who was always there um, wasn't there anymore. Um, and I had to say, man, that I really feel that, because so much of what my life is, and I suspect a lot of people's lives who go through this and have this relationship that's ongoing, is around food and drink, of course, but it's you have a bad day at work, and you know Cheetos and Ben and Jerry will understand, and you'll go hang out. Icy cold Coke will numb that just enough, and you can watch something on TV and forget about that. Just had a great day at work. Awesome, let's go out. We'll go out and celebrate. We'll get a big ass dinner, and it'll spend a lot of money, and we'll get the dessert at the end too, because damn it, we deserve it. We did the thing, whatever the thing was, and and we should celebrate, or celebrate for someone else's behalf. Um, we have friends coming into town. Like I just had Friday. What are we gonna do? Well, let's go out. Let's go out to a bar. We'll have a few drinks and eat a bit of food, or maybe we'll let's order some cheesesteaks. Let's order in, and we'll watch that YouTube video that you were telling me about, and shoot the shit, and it'll be great. Um, and it all surrounds around food, and it's all about carbs and sugar and all these things that's in everything. And I am not a food Nazi, so don't get me wrong. Hopefully most of you, if you're still watching this and seen other episodes, that's not my universe. I'm a pretty real person, but we can't. We're undoing all the stuff. So I'm like, I really would love a piece of chocolate cake. We've had the Thanksgiving potluck at work, and there was this whole bunch of dessert, including somebody made this crazy amazing cake with um, a fondant top, which I know no one likes that flavor. It's not a good flavor. But the inside of the cake, I wanted to taste the inside of the cake, and there were pies, and there were cupcakes, and there were all these things that I basically couldn't eat. But this is how we get social, and the food is part of that. And this is not even Italian people. This is just regular old people getting together, because humans do that. We eat and we drink together. That's our bonding. It used to be that we'd roast meat over an open fire, maybe with loincloths and bang clubs on the ground. But now we've got pizza, and we've got cheesecake and cheesesteaks and McDonald's and all that stuff. So we don't we don't need to eat right because we don't have to. It's too hard and it's too expensive. Um, so yeah, when that friend came into town, we went out to the bar, and what did I drink but water? I was the designated driver. And what did I eat? Green beans. Green beans have become my new French fry. So a little kosher salt on them, and you munch on them like a French fry, and I can tell myself that's all right. It's not horrible. It's not a bad place to be. But man, I really wanted that crab dip that was full of flour that I can't have. And man, I would have really liked some. I did take another swing at wings, and I think I've determined that while the buffalo sauce is okay, um, the butter content that it's deep fried in, not okay. But more importantly, I think it's the skin. So as Turkey Day is tomorrow, we're gonna find out, I guess, if it is, because we're baking a turkey, right? Now we are basting it, and so it's slathered in butter. So there's probably not the best test, um, but it's not deep fried, and it is baked. So we're gonna try the skin again. But my guess is that it's gonna make me vomit because of the fat content. Which is okay. I'm getting used to the vomiting thing, quite honestly. It's over in like 3 convulsions. I did it at work. Thankfully, I had to run to the restroom, but I was in mid-conversation with some gals at work. And it was, yeah, tell me about your kids, blah, blah. And the saliva thing happens. That's my key. That's like I'm not feeling great, but I can push through until I start to feel saliva building up. And that point, it's like, okay, you have a very short time before you're running into the bathroom. And I did that, got there just in time, puked 3 times. That, whatever that was, I think it was chili in the office that I had taken a swing at. That I was assured had no sugar or any other additives to it, which I'm like, maybe fat content. Who knows? Who knows? I'll never know. I just know it made me throw up. And that's okay. I'm getting used to it. I don't want it to happen. That is not my preferred means of, but recognizing the signs and how that's going to affect me has been better. So that's the holiday season though. And we've got the Christmas party coming up, and I've got the beer exchange coming up, and I'm hosting it. And that's okay too, because I want people to enjoy the beer, and I miss it. It's part of the holiday season for me, and there's going to be cookies because I'm probably going to make some. Um, but I can't have any. And so going back to what that gal wrote, it does feel like a loss. It does feel like you broke up with somebody who you've been with for years and years and years. Um, and her husband told her, well, it's not forever. Food is still going to be around. It's just for now. That is key. That is one of the things that I've kind of focused on, is that at this time we're taking sort of a sabbatical, getting our head straight and making some better decisions about what we're putting into our faces, so that when we don't have these things like being forced to throw up because something didn't agree with us, because that ultimately is going to be where we end up. I'm pretty sure that's the literature I've read, at least, that we'll be making these better choices out of habit, because we've had time to sort of work through all that. At least that's where I'm focusing. And it is hard, and it is sad, and it is, moments where I would sit there and watch something great on TV. I feel it every time I sit in front of a movie. That, man, hot buttered popcorn is the shit, and it ain't gonna happen. And there ain't no amount of wisps or crunchy cheese or crunchy cheese balls or whatever else that they can make out of protein that is going to substitute for hot buttered popcorn. It's not possible. It can't be synthesized, and I can't have any because it's I guess it's kind of a gateway drug, or at least I'm told it's a very, very slippery slope. And I probably shouldn't, because in my universe, at least, when they scoped me for colonoscopy, they discovered that I had diverticulosis. So nuts, seeds, and popcorn and things like that, not good. Now, in the past, I have said, too bad. I'm doing it anyway. And my body would be, oh, it hurts, oh, God, why, what did I do? And I did it with ice cream, too. Taking a shot at not doing that this time. But again, it's all about food. It's all about the holidays. We're going to be celebrating all the time. So I did feel compelled to write a note back that was basically like, what you're feeling is real, and I get it, and I'm not the sage advice guys, but it spoke to me what you wrote, and the best I can say is, in my universe, when I'm in that space, it is about the sabbatical. It is about making better choices and trying to at least recognize some of the victories. And it is hard. I still look at, I've got some side by side pictures of me that I took earlier, 2011 I think, uh, bold pictures where I was topless, and I took a few just 2 days ago to sort of collage those together and look at them side by side. And it's not easy for me to see the difference. I see it, but everybody else sees it like, oh my god, and I don't know if I'm ever going to get to that place. But I know I'm making progress, and I know I'm continuing to weigh myself. And I guess in some of these pictures, my face looks different, thinner, so I'm told. That I don't see as much. Um, I see it depending on the camera angle. Like, the double chin is not as pronounced, and people are saying you can see collarbones. Really hard. I have to struggle and take their word for it. But those are the things that you're supposed to focus on as you're in this universe, and taking that time away from that good friend of ours, food. So we'll continue on. I don't know when the next time we'll chat. Maybe it'll be 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, maybe beer exchange. Could be a beer exchange event. Um, I don't know if I'm gonna out myself as a bariatric surgery patient yet either, if ever. Um, I'm getting more comfortable with it, but it is still, there's still a lot of shame and guilt that goes with that. So we'll see. In the meantime, y'all take care of yourselves. Enjoy your Thanksgiving. I know I will. I'm going to be cooking some turkey and having a great time and having family around. And that's what it's all about, man. So take care. See ya.